We're here to continue our 10 albums of 2012, this time from 5 all the way to number 1.
5.
And we're
5.
going to
It's not that
share
hard.
a bunch of albums.
It's not that hard at all.
And share with you why 2012 beat the fuck out of 2011. Anyways, number 5, let's get brutal. I had Whitechapel, self-titled album, Whitechapel. And this album, like Zach was saying earlier and stuff, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air for this band. It's a big step up for them. It might not be my favorite as of now, but it definitely is the most musically well-written album that Whitechapel has. Lots of more classic Whitechapel songs, I Dementia, Dead Silence, all that shit was awesome. Phil Bozeman sounds as good as ever. I like Whitechapel not only just for their like brutality and their heaviness, but their technicality. And this album is definitely technical. This album is Whitechapel, just like Whitechapel has always been, just a step up. So number 5, I have Whitechapel.
Number 5. Speaking of Let's Get Brutal, Beneath the Massacre, Incongruous, technical death metal. This is a very brutal album. They're from Canada, so that's always great there. But in all seriousness, this album is like very just. If you need a technical death metal album, I just say go check out Beneath the Massacre because the musicianship is perfect. The guitar work, in my opinion, is perfect. Every song I love. I mean, not too many bands can do technical death metal and make it catchy, but this band, once I hear the blast beats and the chug chug and the on the guitar work and the brutal vocals, this album just clicks. This band is definitely one of my favorite technical death metal bands. If you want to get into technical death metal, I'd say check this band out.
My number 5 is the Acacia Strain, Death is the Only Mortal. I really, really like this band, but it's number 5 on this for a reason, for a good reason, because it's a very good album. Like Tyler said, it's very heavy, one of the heaviest albums. Nice melody, Vincent Bennett, as always, being Vincent Bennett, and Kevin is just one heck of a drummer. But the reason I have it as number 5 and not higher is because maybe it's just my opinion. I always thought Continent was my favorite Acacia Strain album, and since that album, I definitely don't hate the direction they've gone in. But if they put out an album, another one, based more off of Continent, I would be so happy. But the direction they've gone in is still a heavy direction. I really like it. It's just, it's. I'm not trying to say it's a bad album or anything like that. It's just, I like the Acacia Strain like Continent, and this Acacia Strain is still top 10 worthy. It's just, that's the only reason why I have it at 5 and not 1. And then number 4, I have Awakened as I Lay Dying. It was kind of a shocker to me, when I first heard was it Cauterize or whatever, they put that song out. And I'm just like, oh, this sounds just like everything else As I Lay Dying has ever put out, pretty much, in a sense, the same metalcore riffs and such. But the more I listened to the album, the more I got into it, it's still As I Lay Dying, sure. I'm not going to deny the fact that it's still, what you would expect from As I Lay Dying, but it's, As I Lay Dying is such a good band that they just make it work. I mean, you can take, like I said earlier in the list, The Ghost Inside, may not be the most surprising thing or whatever, but, it's still good, and it still has heart, and, what they do really just blows you away. And I think this is definitely an album that blew me away, because As I Lay Dying just has the potential to always do that, and they just have that skill, and that's what makes them As I Lay Dying.
My number 4 is This or the Apocalypse, Dead Years. This band makes me proud to be a Lancaster metal man. But yeah, this album went in a more groovy direction. There's a lot of like just bouncy guitar work, a lot of stuff that makes you want to jump up and down, a lot of very melodic stuff. The vocals and lyrics are they're just awesome. They're very catchy. This band is just, in general, just a really good metalcore band. If you want a really good metalcore band to listen to, check out This for the Apocalypse. I don't know how popular they are in other states, but they're a local band here, and they're kick-ass. So, if you want a good metalcore band, check them out.
Number 4, I had Dark Roots of Earth by Testament. It's been 4 years since the formation of Damnation came out, and Testament just delivered another thrash metal giant. This album brings back some old things from like the 80s and the early 90s. Testament, they wrote a ballad, Cold Embrace. That's awesome. You know, they used to write ballads back in the day. I think Testament's ballads are just awesome. They had a song that really reminded me of The Ritual with the title track Dark Roots of Earth. But the thrashiness in this, like the New Testament sound from like The Gathering and Formation of Damnation, now this album is just fucking incredible. It's so heavy, it's so angry, it's so in your face. I mean, True American Hate is one of the best songs of the year, if you ask me. Same with Native Blood, and just the amount of amazing catchy riffs on here, and Alex Skolnick's guitar soloing work is just, it's so amazing to listen to. He's one of the greatest soloists ever, if you ask me. And this band might be old, but they're not missing a beat. They're just as good as ever, if you ask me. And this is an excellent album if you're a thrash metal fan. Number 3, I had Skyharbor, Blinding White Noise, Illusion and Chaos. This album, like Zach said, made me shit my pants, and I still love it, and that's why it's number 3 on my list. It's still incredible. I mean, I just listened to it again last night. It still blows my mind every time, but I'm not really, I would say, into it as I used to be. But Zach pretty much, he said a lot. I mean, this album is beautiful, and Daniel Tompkins is just one of the best vocalists out there today, if you ask me, too. His voice is just so incredible. I mean, it can go from up here to down here, and it's just so captivating and so mesmerizing and so beautiful to listen to. And the melody that this band uses in the guitar work is just absolutely killer. I mean, you can't get more melodic than Skyharbor, if you ask me. I mean, every song is just filled with nothing but melody. And the kind of genty parts, the groovy parts, those are good too. And I mean, the harder side of this album, the last 3 songs and the chaos part are just, they're great too. It's not as good, they're not as good as the Illusion part, with like Catharsis and Order 66 and all that. But this is a band that has a bright future, and I really, really hope that they never stop making music, because it's just incredible. Go check this band out.
To add on to that, I think the way that the album is like laid out, like there's 2 CDs to it, and both are like, they have their reasons for having 2 CDs. I think that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Another thing to add is, like, I'm pretty sure this band is like sort of like a super group, so to speak. I think members are like live in different countries and stuff. So I don't know if they'll tour, but like bands like that usually make like 1 album or 2 albums, and just like go take a shit and die. But I really hope this band, like Tyler said, just keeps on going, because that album's a masterpiece.
They got Marty Friedman of Megadeth do some solo work on it. I mean, that's a big name too, so that's cool. Yeah. Good.
Number 3, Stick to Your Guns, Diamond. Now, I love hardcore. I'm into every aspect of hardcore, whether it's melodic or just old school or the whole entire new heavy hardcore influence kind of stuff. But this album is a very, very good melodic but still old school influenced hardcore album. I love Stick to Your Guns. I love all their work, love every album they put out, but this is definitely, I'd probably say this is their best album to date. A lot of people just talk shit on it because there's a lot of those, as similar to elitist metalheads, there's elitist hardcore people, and I'll just take a shit on them because they think they went mainstream or some stupid shit like that. And I really don't care. This album is just a great hardcore album. All the meaning behind it, all the I don't know what the word is, or uplifting, makes you happy album. And think more for yourself and do better for yourself and better for the people around you. Try and make everything better. And just say fuck bullshit. You know, that kind of stuff. But this album is just awesome. I enjoy it a lot. Definitely up there on my list. So
I agree with that. My number 3 is Dingir by Rings of Saturn. This album just like, I don't know, it, from the second it started, it just blew me away. From that first really low scream from the new vocals they got, and all the guitar work that Lucas does. And I think it's stupid that people are saying he recorded it at half speed or whatever, just because they're jealous. And you know, he is just an incredible guitarist, and everything that he does on this album is so abstract in a way that it's, I don't know, it's so different. No, I haven't really heard any other bands that do anything like that, but you know, much like that. But I don't know, it's just such a good album. It impressed me so much, and it was just one hell of an album. You usually think a band like that has like you know, that does what Lucas does would not really have that heavy, really heavy aspect, but they really did a great job of incorporating that, you know, with some, you know, amazing guitar work. And I just think it's, I don't know, it's one of those albums that you really just have to listen to and you'll be blown away from what the guitarist does. My number 2 is the self-titled album from Whitechapel. One of my favorite bands. I love this album. Like Zach said before, it's, you know, something where they do something different each album. It's not like, you know, deathcore bands that, you know, oh, this sounds cool, we're gonna do something like that on the next album. They do something cool in one album, and they just, you know, leave it there and go to the next album and do something different. Like the Somatic Defilement, and then they move on to This Is Exile, and then they have like black metal elements and New Era Corruption, and then they move on to this, the new self-titled album, and like possibilities of an impossible existence. It's like, you know, that nice chorus part that they have. They've never really had that. And, you know, Hate Creation, tracks that just offer so much and are so different and are so, you know, withdrawn, but at the same time still really angry. You know, they did a great job of putting emotion into that album, and I think it definitely deserves number 2.
my number 2, it's not a metal album. It's a great album. It's Title Fight, Floral Green. I don't really care what people say about this band. They'll say, oh, that band's just noise. Fuck you. This band's mellow as hell. They're so awesome. This band, like, sort of, they're not like a band that says, oh, I hate my ex-girlfriend, but like they reflect on stuff like that every person in life goes through, and like all the retarded moments in life where you're just having a down day. They just talk about it in the songs, some of their songs, and just make it, like they'll just like write a song about it, and it won't seem like a big deal anymore, and you'll like the song, and you have something to bob your head up and down to, something catchy to listen to. And this band just really, for me personally, gets me through the day. I love this stuff. It's just mellow. It's really, I really don't, there's not too many other bands that you can compare this to. You didn't say indie bands, but this band just has their own sound, and I love everything they do. The guitar work is mellow. Everything about this band is mellow. Even the drums are very calm in some songs. I love the whole entire new kind of sound they have, even though I miss the old pop punk a little bit. But still, this band, it's just, they're definitely one of my favorites. Definitely my favorite non-metal band. If you want to take a break from metal, check this band out. You might enjoy them. I don't know.
Number 2, I had Phantom Antichrist from Kreator. This is by far this is a bold statement, but it's the best thrash metal album since Rust in Peace by Megadeth, some 20-something years ago. This is seriously a masterpiece of thrash metal. Some of the angriest, most pissed off lyrics, and I mean Mike Piazza, I think his name is, just sounds so, like I said, pissed off, and has such a shrieking growl in his voice, and the lyrics are some of the best thrash metal lyrics I've ever heard. They're not just all about, let's find out how many different ways we can write about killing someone, or, you know, this or that, you know, your typical thrash metal or government or something. This is about, let's take the world's problems and let's fucking do something about it. Let's stand up to horse shit and that stuff. I mean, that's cool. And
standing horse shit.
And some of the best guitar riffs and everything I think I've honestly ever heard of. I mean, just the main riff alone in Phantom Antichrist is mind-blowing. It has such a great production, such a great rawness and aggressive energy to it. This is seriously an amazing thrash metal album, so check it out. Oh boy!
Drum roll, just drum roll.
Reminded me of Richard when you said that, so I was laughing.
You gotta give a drum roll.
Alright. Number one, for me, happens to be RIITIIR, I think that's how you say it, by Enslaved. This album is more than just, this album and this band is more than just a black metal band. It's the progressive side of things that really just makes this an amazing experience to listen to. From the vocals to the lyrics to the guitar work, everything about this works so perfectly together, so just beautifully. This album has everything that you would want in a metal album, if you ask me. It has beautifulness, it has aggressive, it's everything. And just how it breaks, such as the song Roots of the Mountain, where it would break towards the end to like that acoustic part, and then it busts back in. It's just, it's moving, it's just so amazing to listen to. And the lyrics are just sensational to sit there looking through the lyric book and just listening along with the lyrics and being like, wow, these are fucking awesome. And the raw intensity that this album just brings is just incredible, such as, once again, Roots of the Mountain, how it just starts by punching you square in your face, and then it goes to something so beautiful, and Death in the Eyes of Dawn. I mean, the melody this album has is incredible. I mean, like I said, it's beautiful, it's melodic, it's aggressive, it's everything. And the clean vocals are some of the most engaging that I haven't heard engaging clean vocals like that since I have no fucking clue how long. This album, I probably listened to this album 10,000 fucking times since it came out. When I reviewed it, I think I gave it like a 9 or something. I would give this a flat out 10 out of 10 now. It really grew on me. I did not expect Enslaved to put out an album this good. To me, this is better than Ethic Axioma, Odini, whatever it's called. That I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but that's how I feel. I feel so strongly about this album. I really encourage everybody to check this album out. Enslaved put out a masterpiece once again. So that tops my album of the year list. So yeah.
You gotta give me a drum roll. I appreciate it.
I blew it.
The Acacia Strain, Death is the Only Immortal. Appreciate it.
Enslaved.
Anyway, this album, if this band had a motto, I'd say their motto is probably...
What was it? The Acacia Strain, Death is Only Mortal is number one. Okay.
I already said that.
Sorry, I missed it.
I appreciate it. Okay. If this band had a motto, it would be probably, I don't care about anything or anyone, fuck you and go die. Because that's just what this band, their whole entire theme is about. They just do not give a shit. They hate everything. It's just brutal. if you say all they do is breakdowns, the best part about like the Acacia Strain is you can say go fuck you, go die, you're worthless, because that's the main theme of this band. And basically this band just talks about everyday things for everyone. Just says, you know what, fuck it, I don't care. That shit's stupid. It's not gonna bother me a week, or a year from now, whatever. Shit happens, life goes on, then you die and no one cares, and that's just the way life is. But this album is just brutal as fuck. I really don't care if what you say, if you want to criticize them musically, because it does not matter to anyone who likes the Acacia Strain. This band is just heavy as balls. They're the kings of chug chug. But they added some new elements in this. I mean, a lot of people say like this album is just kind of a drawn out version of Wormwood, and I mean I can understand why you want to say that, although I look at it in a different direction. I think they just took their success from Wormwood and wrote a new album from it, wrote new songs and put in new elements. Like Tyler said, there's a lot of melodic parts, or they added some melodic parts in a few songs. But it's the Acacia Strain. It's going to be heavy as balls no matter what they do. It's just a great album. I enjoyed it. This is probably I put this as #1 because this is the album that came out this year that I can keep listening, whether it's a month from now or a year from now. I can still keep headbanging to it, enjoying it, and still just feel the same emotions, same feeling that I had the first time I listened to it. That's one of the few bands that I think can still do that. Whether or not you listen to the album when it comes out, or if you first heard it, you get that emotion like, holy shit, this band is brutal as balls. You can listen to the same album. I have a cold, sorry. You can listen to the same album like a month later, and you'll get the same feeling. You can listen to it a day later, you get the same feeling. You can listen to it for a week straight. Maybe that's a little bit overkill, but you'll still realize that this album is heavy as balls. So. No one's
drum
doing
roll. Okay, that's the one. Appreciate it. My #1 album is a live album, actually. It's Dead and Alive by the Devil Wears Prada. I did! Okay! You can say whatever you want about this band.
Can't do it.
Oh! You can say whatever you want about this fucking band, okay?
Can't do it.
And yeah, I can see why you don't like this band. They name their songs funny things, or they used to. But this live album really just, just grabs your balls, and it's just, really introduces the Devil Wears Prada. It's like you walk up to someone, instead of shaking their hand, they just grab your balls, and they say, yeah, we're the new Devil Wears Prada. And they really show it in this live album. The performance is amazing to me. And they play a lot of songs off Dead Throne, and I would never, probably ever, put a live album in my top 10, let alone my #1, but this whole album, their whole set just blew me away completely. And it was such a flawless album, and I've just been listening to it all the time. It's probably my most listened to album since I got it. But it's just so incredible, and it really just sold me. If nothing else, well, if I haven't already been sold on this band, this would have done it. Their live performance, everything about it, just... Mr. Whittle would just have such a big boner listening to this, and that's all I have to say.
Who's gonna watch Walking Dead tomorrow? It's gonna be crazy.
So these are our albums that really impressed us this year. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe, comment.
We appreciate it.
Have a great day. Have a great year. Have a great something.